Africa is about momentum. The more momentum you have, the better. The more consultations that you can buy if you want to do agribusiness or clothing or fashion, the more the better. If you come here with none of those things moving, that's how people go back. You can't make Africa an emotional decision. If you're going to go to Africa, you need to be committed to be there for life. And that's the decision you got to make. Yeah. When you want to come here, do you love Africa enough that it's in your blood? Like Sudiru Rupiela said.
Yeah.
Africa got to be in your blood.
Hi guys, welcome to the Repat podcast. My name is Janita Maya. Sitting here, you look really good today.
Thank you, baby. You're going to get a raise.
Introduce yourself.
It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson. You know all that. Sacramento, California. Del Paso Heights, stand up 916. We in the building.
I don't understand the thing Americans do, and they you give out your whole address.
Yeah, we got a rep.
What if someone follows you up and like comes to your place?
I'm not there right now, so you ain't gonna find me there. And I ain't gonna tell you when I'm going back either.
Yeah.
But y'all crazy. Gunshots!
Wow. Now, anyway, O'Shea, let's assume someone watching this doesn't know about you. Can you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm a content creator, not only just for myself or other people. Medical school graduate. Okay, so I'm officially a doctor. I can't help you. So that, and I'm a sort of a little bit of an expert in the Repat in Africa situation, stuff like that. Yeah, so I'm a man of many skills. If I say so myself, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, if I would say so myself,
why not?
Right
now, if you don't know O'Shea has a business in Uganda and he has been running it for the last 4 years.
Yeah, it was a loss for most of the time. Yeah,
but you started coming to Uganda in 2017. So can you give us a background on that?
Okay, so it's funny, the first person I met in Uganda was your sister.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
So I had reached her on Facebook like, yo, I want to come to Uganda because I heard about this person, Idi Amin. So, and then I kind of looked at some videos. I saw like Milton Obote, Museveni. And then I kind of read some blogs about, like what do the people like to do out there? Yeah. A lot of parties. Women were nice looking because I was living in Poland at the time, so it wasn't really too many blacks. I wanted to just come and just say I could come to Africa, and plus at the time it was visa on arrival, which has recently changed. But someone to come and just see what it was like. And the first few days I was ready to leave, but toward the end. I really liked it, and it's been on my mind ever since. I've been wanting to come back ever since. I love it. Yeah. And now you're an African American who obviously has a business in Africa and whatnot. Right. Tell us some of the realities of doing business in Africa, or the realities of coming to Africa, because it's now a trend. People coming to Africa are making it a trend. Like, oh, I went to Africa. Oh, I've been to Africa. And it's like, what is the real deal about coming to Africa? What should the people know, or what should they look out for when they come to Africa? I think you have two different kind of people. Okay. There's a person that wants to come to Africa maybe to visit. So, okay, take me to Kabale. Okay. Let's go to Rwenzori Mountains. Or if you're going to South Africa, let's go to the Kruger Temple Park Mountain, or wherever it is. See the lions, and let's just tour. And for a week or two, get overcharged on all the tours, and you'd be like, okay, I went to Africa. Then there's the person that actually wants to be here every day. And if you're a person like a Caribbean person, an African American, well, you don't typically have any family there. It's different if you're Ugandan and you have been here and you have family here and you go to London and you go to Boston, like Waltham, Massachusetts, where a lot of Ugandans are at, and you come back here, then you have some, how the system works. But the problem is that when you're not from here and you fall in love with a Ghana, you fall in love with a Joburg, which is probably a little bit easier because of the system that's there. Yeah. But you fall in love with, let's say you fall in love with Cameroon. Oh. You fall in love with Burundi. You fall in love with Kigali is a little bit more straightforward. But those places you don't know anybody. And then if you're not working for an NGO and then you have to transition to a business person, that's where the challenge comes in. You don't know the system.
your skill may not translate to there. And then you have to go out and be your own talent agency and hire your own people. And then you need to have cash flow to manage that. And you got to trust people, lawyers, banks, all of that. That's where the challenge comes in.
What do you mean a challenge comes in from that?
Well, because, for example, I'm going to do an episode. Shout out to Stan Big Bank.
Yeah.
I think her name was Lorna. Shout out to Lorna if you're watching this episode. I've been trying to get a bank account here for a long time.
True.
We went to another bank and it was like, you got to do this and that.
That's the...
but it was hard to get a bank account. It took me like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
That's a 30-minute conversation in most USA banks.
Yeah.
Then transferring money, I got kicked off a world remit, for just sending too much money, which I had proved who I was and everything. So that's one thing. Where you going to stay? What industry you going to run into? How much money do you have? Because typically it's a lot more money than you need, right? And you may need to do that one thing where you're leaving and then you're coming back. And then you're leaving and then you're coming back. And then you trust in somebody that you probably just met in the last year to keep your project going for you while you're leaving and coming back. So those things are all challenging for an African American because, the people can steal your stuff. People can not do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part is now that you have so many, because in America, if you move from, let's say, Sacramento to Houston, Texas, well, it's a different city, but I know there's a Bank of America in Houston. I know there's going to be a Walmart in Houston.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be, a Whole Foods in Houston. These are things that I realize, even though I'm not where I used to live, and the accents people is different, the culture might be a little bit different, but I understand the system right away. In Africa, everything is different, and you depend on other people because you have to negotiate in the market, how you get around, catching a boat versus catching an Uber in traffic. All that is different. So,
yeah. Speaking of culture, what are some of the cultural shocks you've experienced in Uganda, or since you've moved, as an African American? Something you saw and you're like, what are some of those things?
Let's just talk about going to the bank.
Oh,
because I think that it's kind of self-explanatory. The music, the food, people speak to you. The way people do things. But everything is different how they do things here, even in the bank. In the bank, we stand in line, But in the bank, even at DHL, people have seats.
Yeah.
So people stand in line to come get a seat. And then as the person goes up to go to the counter, everybody shifts. Yeah,
it's like...
Yeah, so if there's 2 rows, this person shifts, that person goes to this row.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, it was crazy because people are standing in line just to get a seat and the person goes to tell her. So people just do things differently. The culture of just doing business. Like, for example, we have PayPal, our Cash App. Here is mobile money.
Yeah.
So if you can want to deposit, if somebody can send you like a text message and you can get some money and then you can deposit that directly into your bank account. So I think that the things and how things are run culturally, business-wise is going to be the hardest thing. I think that people speaking a different language are people negotiating and not set prices. That's might be, but the way things are done, just like rent, you're going to pay like 3 to 6 months up front. That's different in the States. So I think the culture of how business is done here is, going to be the biggest culture shock.
Okay, understood. Can you mention some of the people who have helped you out, like specifics? Let's say maybe a lawyer. You had to get a lawyer. You had to, know someone who works maybe at the immigration office and all that. Do you think you had to know certain people in certain places to get by?
Yeah, well, I'm figuring out that you do. You got to have people to help you. Yeah. This is where a lot of African Americans can struggle because in America, you can get by on your own talent and your own determination for many things. You can go to YouTube and self-learn many things. You cannot self-learn how to get around in Uganda. You do need people that you're going to be vulnerable. People got to introduce you to somebody. People will also tell you things. To also the culture of people saying they're going to do something and not do it. That's very prevalent here. So like somebody saying, yeah, I can help you do this. and then nothing happens. So that also was something that happens here. But yeah, you need people.
Yeah.
You need an attorney. You need somebody that can help you get a bank account. You need to ask for referrals. You need people that
get you the visa, the work permit.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they even have like shout out to Expat Assist.
Yeah.
You know, people like that have those services. So yeah, you do need those entities to help you get through it because you just won't know.
Yeah. Would you say your cost of living has reduced now that you're in Africa? Do you say it's less costly to live in Africa than it is in the States?
Let me say this.
Yeah.
Here, because I earn
well,
I don't earn too bad. But for the quality of life that I live here, I can get a nice apartment, with everything in it that I need. If I furnish it myself, between $500 and $1,000 a month.
Okay.
And that's on the upscale, more upper middle class scale. I mean, I can do more than that if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I have a chef that comes 3 times a week for $270 a month. Shout out to Gilbert.
Yeah.
I buy the food so I can do that. If I want to go out for a nice meal, I can do 2 people for $20
Yeah.
at a $4 to $5 restaurant. If I want to make it a little bit more, I can do $25. If I want to go to a nice spa treatment, and shout out to Don's Organic Spa or Soothing Spa, you can do it anywhere from $23 to $30 for a single treatment. If you want to do like a really nice treatment, $50.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get that in the States. Internet is gonna be a little bit more here. Like fiber, you need to live in certain areas. But I would say that if you make, let's say if you're making $6,000 a month in America, if you have $6,000 a month in Kampala, you're automatically in the top 10% of people here in this country, I believe.
Okay.
At least reported income. So you can live a relatively nice life on American standards. Now, shout out to my boy Kingo Batunda. He was living a decent standard. He wasn't living like I was living because he just didn't like all that nice stuff like I do. But he was getting by for like $200 a month for rent, $250. So if you have, and that was still nice, a nice place.
Yeah.
So, you have to furnish everything yourself. You have to buy your own stove, your own refrigerator, your own beds and all that.
Everything. They just give you an empty room.
Yeah, because in America, everything comes for the most part. If you have an apartment, it comes with a washer and a dryer. Or you're not gonna get that here.
Yeah.
So you got to furnish everything. But yeah, I would say, especially here, my lifestyle that I live here is if I was be in Sacramento, but what I do here, it would cost me like $10,000 a month to live this life. Where in Uganda, it may cost me $3,500 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, the lifestyle that I live here.
Okay, that's understandable. Now, what would you tell someone who wants to come to Africa? Like, let's imagine your little brother maybe wants to move to Africa. What's that one piece of advice you would tell them?
What do you want to do here?
Oh.
That's the number one thing, because if you just said, I want to come to Africa to experience the motherland, the land of my ancestors, and move there, you're going to be moving back within a year. So you have to have what's your purpose for wanting to be in Africa? How are you going to survive? So you can't wing it by ear here. You have to have a really good plan, because Africa and some of the issues that Africa can have can consume you, and you have to be ready to battle the days where there ain't no power. The days, like we just unfortunately had an employee pass away.
Yeah.
So, those things happen anywhere, but when it happens in Africa, it hurts the business more because it's a lot of talent that you lose. You have to recruit people, and then you have to bring the resources in to the country that you might not be able to get. Like, you cannot get certain cameras here, these mics that we have that are like, these are short SM7Bs. Each one of these is $400 in the United States, but you got to ship them. This stand that we have, you can't buy this in the country. So it was more to ship these than it costs to buy them. And it takes like 3 weeks to get it here. So you have to order extra stuff just in case if you need it and it breaks, you don't have to wait 3 weeks
to get it.
So you have to think about all of that.
Yeah.
You got to understand, what do your employees need or resources need for you to run the business every day? And sometimes that is a long time. I'm doing, people know me in the African American YouTube community. I'm one of the, I won't say one of the the top producers, but people know me a lot.
Yeah.
Kevin Samuels of the world, the lead attorneys of the world. People know me from interacting with them, pocket watching with JT, the Black Manosphere, African Diaspora, worked for them for 2 years. So Sanetter, Wodemai.
Yeah.
So people know me all around the Black world. But in Africa, this project has been ongoing. It never stops. So, and I will shout out to Phil from African Diaspora. He told me, he said, listen, if you're going to go to Africa, you need to be committed to be there for life. And that's the decision you got to make.
Yeah.
When you want to come here, do you love Africa enough that it's in your blood? Like Sudiru Rupiela said,
Yeah.
Africa got to be in your blood. There's some Africans that live in Africa that Africa ain't in their blood, which is why they're in the West, right?
Yeah.
And you got some African Americans and Jamaicans who ain't never been to Africa, but Africa is just in their blood. It's just a calling that, you know, God put on your heart or it's in your life.
Yeah.
But if that's what it is, you have to be committed to being here. And sometimes that means I don't have all what I need right now, but I have a manager. I'm really incentivizing them to be in the business with me. I'm paying them more. And that person, like you've managed the operation for me so well, even when I don't have to be here and it's running. So you have to have that kind of trust in the business to do that. And then when I'm away, the business is still building. Like even these stands here that we have right now, we didn't have these when I was last here, but we got them now.
Yeah, we do.
So you need to be always adding, you know, like Paul said in the Bible, adding to the church daily, right? And that's kind of how Africa is. Your project in Africa is ongoing and never stops. You keep innovating it. But if you don't want to look at Africa like that, you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
You have to keep making friends. You have to keep doing favors for people. You have to keep giving your employees to like why they shouldn't steal from you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you have to go over and beyond, incentivize people to want to work for you, want to work with you, want to partner with you. Like we got a project we're doing on Sunday with tubio.com.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great thing that we're doing. But it's ongoing. It's ongoing. And if that's not you, then don't come to move. But you're going to have to live and come back. Even Nigerians, Ugandan Americans, what are they always doing? They live somewhere for 25 years, but they're what? Living and coming back, living and coming back, leaving and coming back, leaving, coming back. It's ongoing. They're building houses here. They're building business here, leaving and going back, leaving and going back, leaving and going back. So it may take you some time. There's no time limit on when it's going to go down. You don't know.
Now, would you suggest to someone, do you suggest they come at once and stay over or come, go back, come, go back?
Come and go back.
Oh, okay.
Come and go back.
Why is that?
Because you may not be able, unless you have a business, like in the business that we're in, like YouTube. In YouTube or content creation, the money is not dependent on the local economy. So like, I don't have to go out and have a poultry farm here or something like that. My money is guaranteed as long as the power is on, for the most part. Facebook is like that. Some people sell things on Shopify. So if you have that kind of business, maybe it will stay. But if you're a person that has a more traditional job, maybe you work for a company over Zoom or online. That's happening now since the pandemic. So, but if not, it would be great if you could stay. But sometimes you might need to go and come back. Like for example, we had to bring some batteries for some of the cameras that we had, and they were some V-mount batteries.
Yeah.
But I had to go there and bring them back on the carry-on because you couldn't ship them. And those batteries is almost $3,000, right? And so I had to go through carry-on with those batteries. I had to pay taxes at the airport just to bring those batteries to do the business that we have right now, what we have going on. So you just need to have somebody that you trust in the business. They love the business. You know, they'll never love it as much as you do as the owner. But if they can get close and that person sees the changes in the business happening, you can trust that person, you can leave and you can come back. Now, if the money is still coming to you directly, it's better. That's a whole different conversation. If you can kind of come up with systems to do that, because people will take your money and stuff like that. But it's better to go work in America and to have your things developing in Africa while you're not there. So every time you come, there's more progress in the business. You know, it's always better to do it like that. I feel, especially if you have no ties here.
Yeah. Okay, that's really nice. Thank you so much for the talk. I hope that they learned something. And this is for the people who want to know his cost of living. I think we can put the link for the pop-up so that you can kind of get an in-depth, financial overview of everything, you know. Yeah, so.
Well, let me say one thing.
Yeah.
Also, let's say, for example, a lot of people want to come, like for me, I'm in the social media business and we're doing like short films now. So I already had some knowledge of that. And I built my team around that business. But if you're coming here and you don't know an industry, it's better for you to come and know an industry. Let's say you want to come and get into poultry farming. So let's say if I wanted to become a poultry farmer in Uganda, if that was my goal, I would go to America somewhere. I would learn how to poultry farm in America before I come here. I would learn the basics and the things on the American standard, or part-time. I would go volunteer. Then when I come to Uganda, I understand the industry that I'm dealing with. If it's rabbit farming, I would do that in America or in the UK somehow before I come. I would not come here with no momentum. Africa is about momentum. The more momentum you have, the better. So the more consultations that you can buy, if you want to do agribusiness or clothing or fashion, the more the better. If you come here with none of those things moving, that's how people go back. You can't make Africa an emotional decision. Because you come here, it's so like, some people say, I have a friend that says Africa is so sexual. It's a girl, not a guy. You come here, the weather's nice, people are really nice.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like you got a lot of money in your pocket and things like that when you go into the bars. Yeah. Girls are hot. For ladies, the guys are nice. You're enjoying it because it's every day. But how you gonna live here? What's your work schedule every day? You know, what's your budget every day? You know, how do you? So those things have to be quantified into your daily plan. And if you don't have those things, it's gonna be a big problem. So you need to know why you're in Africa and what you're gonna do. How do you make money? If it's agribusiness or if you're bringing an app or something to this community, who do you know? You know, like it takes time. Things takes time to develop here.
Yeah.
And you just can't come and make them develop. It doesn't work like that. Right. You got to do things at the pace, but you also want to make sure that you have your cash flow coming in. That's why when I came here in 2020, it wasn't like, oh, well, you know, when I brought Satazi here, we already was, you know, we had things moving already. We already had a core of people. We know what we could do. So when it came, it just all came together. But that's been years of building that team. I had to go to Kenya to meet him, you know? Then I got Jay from Baltimore, and he reached to me. So it took me years to build this team, you know, Kim and everybody else. So it takes time. Be willing to go with the struggle. You're going to have struggles. But if you don't want to put your time in, don't come. You got to you can't cheat the game here. Yeah. This is not going to work. Okay? So work on yourself, work on your skills that translate to come in here. Any country, Ghana, Uganda, safest bet if you don't know anything else is going to agribusiness. Yeah. If you don't know any other industry, learn that industry. Yeah. You don't want to come here and don't have any industry. You have to have some kind of competitive advantage. Get that competitive advantage, come here, you will win. And then if you can train in any industry, if it's tech, if you can have that knowledge and you can train people, it happens even faster. Like with the YouTube business, I train people in that. Even if I don't edit, and I don't, but I know how our people can come up with concepts. I can train towards the business. Yeah. So if you can do that, because you have to also teach in as an entrepreneur here. You have to teach and establish the core values of the business. And if you don't know how to do that, become understanding how to be a leader, how to run the day-to-day functions of the operation, how to teach your manager how to run the business. Yeah. Because me and you've had those conversations all the time. Yeah. This is how you manage people. This is what you need to do. Yeah. And those things improve over time. How to edit videos, how to put the thumbnails on there, how to get things out, how to set up the cues, the workloads for the day, for the week. So that's how you build success, but it takes time to build that system. So when you get some new person coming in, they already know, here's a template how to do it. Here's how to do A, Y, and Z, and D. So you can train people in the concepts of the business. That's how you have success. But if you can't do that, you need those skills before you really relocate here.
Oh, okay, that's really nice. And speaking of agribusiness, we have a whole playlist with over 50 videos on agriculture. So you can decide, you can watch any and decide what type of agribusiness you want to get into. That's all. Is that all you have for us?
I think that's all I have.
Yeah.
Like I said, Africa, moving to any African country, and most people will look at, well, is it English speaking or francophone?
Oh,
That's a big difference. Me personally, I deal with the English speaking. So Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Uganda, Ghana, Kenya.
different. Yeah.
So English speaking is good. Most people you can find very, very intelligent. So look at that. Visit first.
Yeah.
I will always say that, visit first. And then go to the co-working space communities. I also always say that. When you go here, go to the co-working spaces. If you don't know anything, go on your first trip. Look at the co-working spaces. Go and look also at the investment authority websites on any country. So if you go into Liberia, go look at the investment authorities of Liberia. Uganda is very, very well laid out. Kenya is very well laid out. They're going to tell you right away, this is the opportunities that we need. Can you do this, this, and this?
Yeah.
Here's the minimum money. Now, some people don't like that $100,000 minimum deposit. I'm not going to go into that. I did that in 2020. Everybody roasted me. You wanted to come here with $5. It's your business, right? But I'll tell you that what the investment authorities typically put out on their website is what they're looking for. So if you don't have a skill to pair yourself up to, look at what the investment authorities are asking you for. If it's meat production, I know there was one in Arua. They were looking for somebody to create fish food meals.
Yeah.
They were looking for that business. They were actually so good. They told you what your profit could be, how much your employees would be, the estimated investment. So if you wanted to get into something like that, if you wanted to start small in what you can do in the agribusiness, you can start smaller if you want to do that and then scale up over time. So look at the investment authorities of Ghana, Uganda, Tanzania. Look at what you need, to do businesses, business licenses, work permits, all that. It's quite attainable on the websites. And we're going to do some stuff like this year with the investment authority to help you guys out in that. And that way you get to kind of gauge where your skill sets are and where they can be. You come here and then you're always able to resize. So every time I come to Africa, I'm able to kind of go back and say, all right, I need more of this now. So every time I'm kind of resizing what I have, right? So every time you come, you figure out more stuff. So match your skills to the country that you're going to. Then keep revisiting that country every time. So instead of going to Brazil, instead of going to Hawaii on vacation, go back to the country that you want to deal with. So I came here 17 times straight. I didn't go really anywhere else. Or if I came somewhere else, I would come here. Then I would go to Kenya. Then I go to South Africa. I come back here.
Yeah.
So make the commitment to keep coming back, resizing, figuring out, leave. Come back, resizing, figure it back, leave. Figure it out, leave.
Perfect. So I thought I should give you an applause in the effect. But thank you so much, guys. If you like this video, tell us what you think in the comment section, and also like this particular video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also go to your Instagram
At O'Shea Duke.
Yeah, your Instagram and then your YouTube channel.
O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Same thing everywhere.
You guys know. What's up?
Follow us on all our social media pages: Kenga Nation Instagram, Kenga Nation Twitter, Kenga Nation Facebook. Follow me on Instagram too at Janita Maya, and YouTube at Janita Maya. And if you'd like to know anything about Uganda, follow my business page, Maya Consultancy. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.